Well, the super PAC, Future Forward USA, is paying big to boost President Biden in battleground states, releasing this ad praising the Inflation Reduction Act. Watch this.
Thanks to Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, we'll be doubling the number of good jobs in the next month or so. He's bringing manufacturing jobs back to America.
The super PAC is paying $12.3 million between this week and November 12th to launch ad campaigns for Biden. Politico reporting on the ad blitz, writing, quote, his campaign is getting an unusual boost from a super PAC spending millions of dollars to resuscitate public opinion of him in major battlegrounds. Meanwhile, Axios reporting that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are both running basement-esque campaigns for 24 risk-averse operations, favoring friendly media without many public campaign events. Joining me now, former New York State Senator and Democratic strategist David Carlucci. Also joining me is Fox News political analyst and author of the book Taken for Granted, Gianno Caldwell. Gentlemen, good morning to you both. David, I do want to start with you. Is this another campaign from the basement that we're about to see from Joe Biden?
Well, I don't believe so. I think if we look at the numbers, we see that Joe Biden has actually done more events than Donald Trump so far. And we see that what's happening is Joe Biden is running around the world. He was just in Vietnam, giving close to a 30-minute press conference, taking questions from the public, walking around the stage. So he's showing that he's out there. Whereas former President Donald Trump, unfortunately, is mired in these legal issues, and you see that from the spending. You just talked about Biden's super PAC being able to spend money going on the offensive, while Donald Trump's super PAC is spending all this money on legal defense. So that's really telling, and it's something that really boasts the Democrats and gives them a good advantage heading into next November.
Gianno, respond to that.
You know, it's so interesting to hear David talk, as we just saw the super PAC ad where they said they're bringing jobs back to America. When we hear Joe Biden on the stage saying how well he wants China to do well, and I wonder if that's the $2 billion in patent theft that they do every year, or is it the billions of dollars in trading deficit that we have with them? What is it he exactly wants to do well? Because Americans here at home don't feel as though they're doing well. Fox News data showed us back in May how almost 70% of Americans feel that their financial situation is either poor or fair, and it's not in a good way. If we look at some other data from Fox News data, traits of Joe Biden, cares about people like me, only at 45%. Is honest and trustworthy, only 40%, has judgment to serve, 38%, has mental soundness to serve, 37%, is a strong leader, 33%, and of course, is corrupt. 44% of Americans say yes. I'm sure that number is dialed up. People do not feel good about where they are right now in life, and Joe Biden is taking a lot of the blame because people had sold us a bill of goods when he ran in 2020, said he was going to be this empathetic leader, that he was going to bring the economy back into place where Americans can thrive like they did during the Trump years, and none of that has come to fruition. And Americans are speaking up. That's why they're doing these ads.
And David, he's running on Bidenomics, and the Wall Street Journal writes in an op-ed this morning that Democrats, David, this is the Wall Street Journal editorial board, Democrats are starting to panic about Biden. His low standing in the polls is finally alarming them about his political risk for 2024.
Well, that's exactly why they need to go on the offense, is talk about Joe Biden's record. I mean, Gianna's talking about opinion polls, but that's why the Democrats have to go out there and talk about what Joe Biden has actually done. And when we do that, we're going to win, because you look and you see what's going on. The Republicans are talking about who can be the most conservative, who can, out-Trump Donald Trump. And that's going to be a real problem for Republicans. When you look at these polls, and it shows that the front runners are still tied, Joe Biden, with all of this polling data showing how bad he's doing, and the fact that Donald Trump still doesn't beat him in a head-to-head matchup, I mean, that's a real problem for Republicans. Then you see the candidates that actually do better than Joe Biden, and they're getting crushed in the Republican primaries. So I think this is more of a problem for Republicans, and as long as the Democrats can stay on the offensive and talk about what they're actually doing, that's going to make a world of difference. And I think that's what the American people that have left undecided.
You mentioned what he's actually doing, the Inflation Reduction Act. How much inflation has it actually reduced? They said that that's what it was going to do. It didn't. Inflation is climbing back up again. It was a climate change
Well, it's done
bill,
a numerous amount of things.
which he told Joe Manchin, told Joe Manchin they were going to work on energy-related policy, and we find out that that's a lie. Joe Biden has lied to the American people time and time again. People see it for what it is. The media has consistently told us not to believe our own eyes about our personal set of circumstances, and Americans are responding. Okay. So I hear what you're saying, David. It's just not.
This is just conjecture. When you look at what the Inflation Reduction Act is actually doing, it's creating jobs. It's spurred investment, more investment in renewable energy than we've ever seen. And that's because of the action of President Biden. While the Republicans are screaming,
a lot of people that I know that are
Joe Biden and the Democrats are actually moving forward with an agenda. So it's one thing to attack, and that's only going to shore up the Republican base. But to win over the undecideds, which there's very few, you're going to have to talk about results. You're going to have to talk about what you're going to do instead of just attacking.
Let me jump in.
Gianno, I'm going to have to give you last word. I'm almost out of time, and just one at a time. But Gianno, just real quick, last word.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Just to his point that he just made, that it only shores up the Republican base. Why is it almost that 70% of Democrats want another candidate for 2024, David? That's the question you must go home with tonight.
Well, I think that you're both going to have to come back and have a rematch and a debate again with me. Please, that was wonderful. Great to have you both here. David Carlucci, Gianno Caldwell. Great discussion, guys. Thank you so much.